The 2020 class has a lot of talented shooting guard prospects, and Kentucky commit Brandon Boston is easily one of the best. The 6'6" guard from Georgia will bring scoring and high energy to the Wildcats' fast-paced offense. Brandon is having a really solid senior season at Sierra Canyon, and so far I believe he has established himself as the best prospect on a team full of high major talent. He's known for his scoring ability, but Brandon has a lot of potential in other areas of the game, which is why he's considered a top prospect. Today, I would say Brandon has the potential to be a late lottery to mid-first round type of talent. He's a gamer that shines on the biggest stages, and I expect for him to have a lot of big games next season at Kentucky. In this Part 2 breakdown, we'll be looking at where Brandon has improved as a basketball player and what he still needs to work on before he plays at the next level. I would say Brandon's smooth jumper and his ability to shoot from mid and three-point range is his biggest strength. I really like his confidence as a shooter. Brandon won't hesitate to pull up from NBA range where he's more than capable of knocking down shots. There's been some criticism over his low release point, but in my opinion, he gets his shot off quick enough to where I don't see it being a real issue long term. Brandon's footwork is also very impressive when he wants to get separation from his defenders. He's usually on balance when using step backs or stopping on a dime for a pull-up jumper. Brandon also has no problem knocking down difficult shots with the hand in his face, as you can see in these clips right here. Overall, Brandon is a serious threat shooting the ball from the perimeter, whether it's with the ball in his hands or playing off the ball. Improving on consistency and shot selection should be his main focus. Brandon has really improved at finishing at the rim since my last video, whether it's attacking off the dribble or slashing to the rim. He's still a slim guy weighing only 175 pounds, but I like the way Brandon has gotten better at absorbing contact in the paint. Even though he isn't a big guy physically, Brandon's not afraid of attacking the basket, and he uses his length, soft touch, and craftiness to his advantage. He's not a super explosive athlete, but he has a deceptively quick first step, and he's capable of finishing above the rim as well. Brandon is also much more active slashing to the basket without the ball. Watching film of Sierra Canyon, Brandon was consistently cutting or flashing in the lane to receive the ball, which is good to see from a young player. He will need to put on some weight in the future, most definitely, but Brandon has such a natural feel for scoring the ball that he's been able to compensate for his lack of strength. Brandon has been a talented defender for most of his high school career. His 6'10" wingspan and active hands allows him to exceed in getting steals in the passing lanes. His lateral quickness has improved as well since my last video. Brandon does a better job sliding his feet and staying in front of his man. He still has some difficulty staying in front of quicker ball handlers, and there are spurts throughout a game where he's not disciplined on defense. But as he gets stronger physically, and with some good coaching, I believe Brandon could be a really good defender that could guard multiple positions. Brandon rebounds the ball extremely well for his position. He averaged a very impressive 8 rebounds per game this past summer on the EYBL circuit. He's consistent at crashing the boards when the shot goes up, and I feel like this says something about his toughness as a player. He's never the strongest or most athletic player on the floor, but he still finds the way to make an impact on the boards, and that would take him a long way in his basketball career. Despite the improvements Brandon has made, he still has the same weaknesses from his sophomore year. Let's start with his streaky shooting. Brandon's shooting percentage from three-point range dropped from 40% in 2018 to a very low 24% in 2019 on the EYBL circuit. Now, he's shooting the ball much more efficiently for Sierra Canyon, but it's clear Brandon struggles with consistency shooting the ball. This is partly due to his questionable shot selection. Brandon is a very confident shooter, but sometimes he forces up some difficult shots when it's not really needed. Also, Brandon's consistency finishing around the rim is something that needs to improve as well. He's very aggressive when he wants to get to the rim, but he needs to get stronger if he wants to become a real threat attacking off the dribble. It's fairly easy to bump Brandon off balance when he's attacking the basket, which then leads to some pretty out of control layup attempts. Lastly, Brandon needs to learn how to value the basketball better. It's not hard to strip the ball from him when he's attacking the basket since he's not very strong physically. He can also be pretty careless with the ball, bringing it up the floor, occasionally dribbling with his head down. Also, Brandon gets in habits of making lazy passes that the defense can easily pick off, or sometimes he tries to thread the needle on passes that aren't really there. Brandon is a smart player that I believe can improve on these weaknesses. Hopefully we won't see these same weaknesses once he gets to Kentucky. Well, here's my verdict. Brandon Boston is an exciting shooting guard prospect with tons of potential. Not only will he bring instant offense for the Wildcats next season, but I do believe he'll make his presence felt on the defensive end and on the boards. He really needs to put on some muscle if he wants to be able to compete physically in the SEC. He sometimes has issues getting to the rim at the high school level, so I can see him having some difficulties scoring efficiently in the paint in college if he doesn't get stronger. But I do believe Brandon is a first-round talent that could potentially be a lottery pick if he has a solid freshman year at Kentucky. Consistency will be key for him throughout the year, which is a common struggle for freshmen, especially freshman guards. Brandon has a lot of confidence and toughness for a young player, and I believe he'll impact the game in many ways if he's having an off night offensively. I'm really excited to see how he develops over the next few years. Hopefully one day he'll be able to reach his true potential.